Alright guys, in today's video we're gonna be taking a look at some upcoming medieval and Viking games. It's been a long time since I've made a video centered on this genre, and I think there's a lot of them out there, so now would be the perfect time. Let's start right away with the first game, Crimson Desert. We're starting with a big one right here. Crimson Desert, which was announced last year in fall 2019, took the gaming community by storm with an absolutely stunning reveal trailer and a promising future ahead. It is said developer Pearl's Abyss goal with this ambitious title is to tell a unique single player and online story like no others. And the studio also says it will have many unique lands to explore, a narrative to see unfold, and characters to meet. At heart, Crimson is an open world filled with mythical creatures who are neither friend or foe, cruel mercenaries vying for blood, and powerful figures conspiring in the shadows of the royal court. Players will never be able to truly let their guard down. To survive the growing threats, they'll need to learn to make strategic choices, all brought to life through Pearl's Abyss action-driven combat system. That being the case, the biggest friend or foe will be the other player right beside you. The game tells the story of many different characters whose fates are matched with the main character and his band of mercenaries. Each character has their own unique backgrounds and tales to tell, affecting everyone from the decisions they make to the gear they equip, so you'll have to be very careful with words when talking to them. Not just them, but the whole world actually.
Young master, the lands here are cold and barren.
You can starve to death for all I care.
Next up we have Chivalry 2. The first one had to be my favorite medieval game ever, so I'm definitely hyped for this one. Chivalry 2 is a 64 players multiplayer first-person slasher inspired by epic medieval movie battles. It is said players are thrust into the action of every iconic moment of the era, from the thunder of cavalry charges to storms of flaming arrows, sprawling castle siege, and more. Each map will tell a big narrative by having the player move through huge environments across multiple stages and changing objectives that's known to the era, so that in a single map you are killing peasants, burning houses, smashing gates down with a battering ram, and finally killing the king. The fighting mechanics is one of the best part of this sequel, as said. Each animation is said to be perfectly made with extreme details. Wounded players might grip their wounds as they continue fighting, and you can even be knocked over and have to continue fighting as you struggle to your feet. One of my most anticipated game of 2020 definitely. It's coming to PC. Next up we have Project Awakening. This one is also a long-awaited of mine, with its first trailer revealed more than a year ago, and that's it, nothing more. Project Awakening is said to be coming to PlayStation, maybe PS4 or PS5. It is a realistic and extremely huge open world action game, and when I say realistic, I don't mean there's no dragons as you can see, I mean what comes with it. First off, it will feature both single player and co-op play with up to 12 players, and is heavily focused on having a dark and grimy tone, where the type of armor you wear, the weapon you have, will influence how your character plays. For example, a heavy armor will be a lot more intimidating and will lower the speed of your attacks, and so on. Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones were the main inspirations for Project Awakening. That's all the details we have, but I will be covering it more in the future. Next up we have the I Am Jesus Christ game. Now this one isn't really medieval or Viking, but it doesn't fall in any other category, so I'd added this one in. I Am Jesus Christ is an open world simulation game inspired by stories from the New Testament of the Bible. You'll be getting into old times and follow the same path of Jesus Christ 2000 years ago. It is covering the period from baptizing of Jesus Christ and to resurrection. You'll be able to perform miracles to unlock different skills and perform new miracles, like healing people, walking on water, calming storms and such. It is also said you'll be fighting demons, and most importantly, Satan. Now this is just a game I wanted to cover, there's no fighting to be had in the comments please. Next up we have one of the most anticipated game of all time, The Elder Scrolls 6. No details is known about this game, only it's been highly rumored Bethesda has started full development on it just weeks ago. It's been worked on for more than a year now, but most of the team is now set to be on it as we speak. One more thing is we know the person named Skyrim Grandma, who is known for making lots and lots of Skyrim gameplay, is the first character to be added to Elder Scrolls 6. Props to her, she really deserved it. I know Bethesda has its problem recently with all of their games, but I really want this game to be perfect, please. Next up we have Elden Ring. It is an open world RPG game created by From Software, makers of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Dark Souls and such, and also created with the help of George R.R. Martin, creator of Game of Thrones. Again, we don't know much about this game, though it is said to have a lot of grimdark Viking influence. It is also a massive desolated world with ruins and other environments similar to From Software's past games. Elden Ring will focus more heavily on RPG elements, meaning that the action RPG pendulum is probably swinging back towards Dark Souls territory and away from the action of Sekiro. Next up we have Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. It is finally close to release after more than 3 years of announcement and 4 years of development. It is the eagerly awaited sequel to the acclaimed medieval combat simulator and role-playing game Mount and Blade Warband. Set 200 years before, it expands both the detailed fighting system and the massive world of Colradia. Bombard mountain fortresses with siege engines, establish secret criminal empires in the back alleys of cities, or charge into the thick of chaotic battles in your quest for power. It is filled with siege elements, diplomacy, sandbox economy, crafting of weapons and such, modding and so on. Next month is when you'll be able to play it on PC. Next up we have Valhall. Valhall is a Viking first and third person hack and slash game with a deep melee combat system. It is set to release with the wheeled Mjolnir game mode where you have to fight other players for Thor's hammer, a battle royale game mode, and an objective game mode, where one team fights another over a number of different objectives. The combat looks to be really impressive and a lot more advanced than some other Viking or medieval game. Definitely on my list of favorite upcoming games. Next up we have Last Oasis. Last Oasis is a nomadic survival MMO. The Earth has stopped rotating and the last human survivors, which are online players, need to outrun the scorching sun in a massive open world. You will traverse the world on your walker, which are wind-powered machines that can be adapted for travel, transportation, harvesting and combat. After a cataclysmic event altered the Earth's rotation, the planet was split into two extreme and deadly environments. Only a narrow region between the burning and freezing halves of the planet can support life. This region moves as the planet orbits around the sun, and all of living creatures must migrate with it to survive. In order to keep moving, the remnants of humanity have built nomadic machines and a walking city called the Flotilla. You will always be on the move. Finally, we have Darkborn. In Darkborn, you play a fearsome beast capable of cruel brutality, but you're not necessarily the predator. The developers wanted to reserve the power fantasy and make you the marginalized hunted rather than the hunter. It puts you in the role of one of these creatures, being senselessly slaughtered by the pale enemy. This band of Viking-like marauders hunt down the Darkborn, torture them, and perform blood rituals with their corpses. Over the course of the game, you play multiple generations of these Darkborn, as you learn the motivations for their bloodshed and exact revenge on those who have harmed your kind. You will evolve from a young kid that needs to act silent and limit encounters to a fearsome adult creature capable of taking on multiple enemies at once. Make sure to keep this one on your list, it looks actually promising. Alright guys, if you'd like to see more upcoming games videos like these, then of course drop a like as it helps so much and I can see that you want more. Tell me which genre I should do next on my next upcoming game video like this one. FPS games, open world games, horror and so on. I hope you all have a great day and take care. Thanks to I Am Legend for being a master member on the channel. You can become a survivor member for 99 cents only. It'll support me and the channel as a whole. Alright, thanks for watching.